I think it's really important to understand that for NHS staff, having these waiting lists is bearing down on them. So, as I said, I went to the Royal Derby, and they were really concerned about how do we get our waiting list down. But talk to staff in any hospital. They feel they can't get on with the day job because they've got this massive backlog that is bearing down on them. So, they want these backlogs to come down as much as anybody else because they're under intense pressure all the time these backlogs are there. So we need to work with them, understand the pressure they're under. All that Rishi Sunak does is make promises he can't keep and then blame the NHS for his failures. That is so disrespectful.
Because presumably there must be an element of pride for staff as well, that they want to be able to offer the best service that they can to their patients, and they're not able to do that.
Completely. I remember my mum was a nurse, and the pride she had in wearing the uniforms was just incredible. To see her face light up wearing the NHS uniform. And that's what it means to work in the NHS. It's a national service. And people feel deeply. I mean, my sister worked in the NHS. My wife works in the NHS. My mum was a doctor. It runs, it's sort of running through my DNA. But I understand that pride. I understand that complete desire to deliver the best possible care to patients, and the complete frustration that the NHS staff have been put in this position by the government.
And just to shift slightly while on national service, obviously the government has come out, the Conservatives have come out with this policy around national service for 18-year-olds, and then today talked about giving a lot of support to pensioners. Do you think there's a sort of generational issue there that young people are being left out in the cold, and the Tories are sort of, do you think there's something there?
I'd like to think that the government had a plan, but I'm afraid they don't. They're flailing around day by day, desperately trying to fling ideas out, because after 14 years in government, they haven't got a clue what they're doing. So the national service proposal was ill fall through, won't work. It's a desperate gimmick. And proof of the pudding is the moment a question is asked, the government hasn't got an answer. The first question is obviously how you go enforce it, to which they've been flailing around without an answer for 48 hours. That shows that it was dreamt up, thrown on the table to try and grab attention, but without it being thought through. And the problem with that is that, for those that are serious about defence, which an incoming Labour government would be, it does nothing to help the defence of the country. So military experts say, well, this won't work. If you can call it bonkers, it will drain our resources and take away from an already depleted armed forces. So it's not through, and it's desperate. And they see the same with the government on pensions today. I mean, the first question in relation to pensions is, why should anybody believe them? This is a government that has raised tax more than any other government. We got the highest tax burden since the war. They went to the last election promising they wouldn't put taxes up, and they put them up more than anybody else. And the person who's put them up is Rishi Sunak as Chancellor and Prime Minister. He's the tax riser's tax riser, but the British expert on tax rises. So why would anyone believe them? It's absolutely desperate stuff. We remain committed to the triple lock and providing the sort of security and stability that pensioners and equality needs as we go forward.
It's obviously day 6, I think, of the campaign.
Day 6, yeah.
You talked a bit about the national service, the pensions, all of the kind of different things that have been happening over the last few days. How do you feel like the campaign is sort of going so far? Because it feels like Rishi Sunak called it on Wednesday. That's caught himself on the hop.
Yeah, he was. He set an ambush and caught himself in his own ambush. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the chaotic way in which they've been running the government, and the chaotic ideas they're now putting out on a daily basis. Our team is very upbeat. We are campaigning with a smile on our face. We've been waiting, 4.5 long years for this general election, 4.5 years of changing the Labour Party. And we are delighted to have the opportunity to go and take our arguments to the country and to make our case for change. and to say to voters, look, you can end the chaos and division. You can turn the page, and you can elect in a Labour government that will serve you and rebuild our country. And so we are relishing the opportunity of making that argument every single day.
You obviously started going into the campaign. Labour have been ahead in the polls for a long time. You're still very far ahead in the polls. There is going to probably become a point when they start to narrow. How do you keep people, yourself and others, motivated?
Well, the polls don't predict the future, so we've never got carried away with polls. We focus on the argument that we are making for the future of the country. And, if after 14 years, whether it's the NHS or anything else, a government has left the country in a worse place than they found it, then they've got to go. And we need the opportunity for the country to move forward now. And that's the positive case. I know we've got to earn every vote. I know that there are undecided voters who will be looking at Labour and looking at me. And my message to them is, I will fight for you. I will fight for you every day under a Labour government, because we'll be a government of service.
And obviously it's going to be quite an intense 5-week period. Do you think the campaign's going to get nasty? Are you prepared for that?
All campaigns sort of have their good days and their bad days. I'm actually pleased to be able to make the positive case that we're able to put to the country. I mean, we've been a long time in opposition now. We've changed the Labour Party to put it in a position where we can proudly say country first, party second. And so, we are, as I say, relishing this opportunity to get out and make that case across the country.
And how do you keep yourself going on the campaign trail? Is it 4 cups of coffee? Is it marmite on toast? How do you, what are your tips?
It's coffee, it's sandwiches, it's briefings, it's having a really great team around. I say this in the company and stuff, but I've got a brilliant team that we put together that sits behind everything that I do. And the team I've got in the Labour Party now is the best team I've ever worked with. And I've said that to them, and I say it to you. So that gives me, an incredible platform, if you like, a foundation for what we're doing. And so we're a good, united team. We were always ready for this. If Rishi Sunak thought he was going to catch us off guard with his ambush, he absolutely has not understood the work we've done over the last 4.5 years. Like most things, it's passed him by. He lives in another world. Had he been focusing on us, he'd have known we're absolutely ready to go.
When do you think we'll see the manifesto?
Oh, in a few weeks, we've got to go through, it's some finishing touches, and then it goes through a bit of the Labour Party process. But the manifesto launch will be great. Looking forward to it.
No big surprises, national service in there?
You can't expect me to start revealing the manifesto to you before we launch.
Got to try.
Nice try.
Can I ask one more slightly to the side question? But we've done a story today about the Information Commission.
Oh, yes.
Who have ordered the government to publish their assessments around cutting universal credit uplift. Do you think they should do that before the election?
Yes. Good government requires transparency. Good government requires accountability. And this information should have been in the public domain long ago. And I no doubt when we see this information, we'll find out why Rishi Sunak was trying to hide it. But yes, good government is about accountability and transparency. Sadly lacking under this Prime Minister.